Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to cover an ARC book, The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. I think that's how you spell it. But anyways, he also wrote Sandland Ascends, the Babel series, which I really enjoyed this series. I had fun with it. It's unique and maybe not everyone would like it. I did do a little bit of a video on it, so if you're curious to maybe see what the series is like, you can watch that video if you want. But it's more of kind of like a steampunk feel and everything to it, but The Hexologist is completely different. So it's a little similar in the writing style to Sandland Ascends, and where he writes characters very well, and he also shows the flaws of those characters very well too. So you can distinctly pinpoint the personality of every character, and that's why I really liked the Babel series, is in the sense that the characters were so well written. I can picture and imagine the personality of every single one, and I can still remember that. So he does do really well with that, and I think with this, the Hexologist, he does that again, and it does a very good job. And also, he also writes very well the daily, day-to-day life scenes. I like those. So I mean, you might enjoy it, you might not. You might find that to not be up your alley. You might find that to be maybe a little more boring, or you might want some more excitement. These books don't tend to have a lot of constant excitement going on. There's a lot of that day-to-day feel. So if you're looking for something really, fast-paced and exciting, you might not exactly find that with these books. But that being said, I still really enjoyed it, especially the Hexologist. I think I probably like the Hexologist more than the Babel series. Just because I liked the characters better. I really liked the characters. But yeah, so going into it, I did get this as an ARC, so thank you, Nat Galley. I do appreciate it. But I really did enjoy this book. I did. It was where, I kind of mentioned it's more about that day-to-day life. It kind of feels like one of those books where you just savor it, and you savor each of the scenes because it's so detailed, and you just want to enjoy it. And that's kind of how I felt with this book. I liked the characters' interactions or daily interactions. So I really do like how he writes the characters so humanly with all their flaws and everything. I just really enjoyed that. So I liked, their interactions, listening to them talk, work things out. But so it's mainly following two characters in this book. It's following Iz and Warren Wilby, yes. So it's following the two of them. It's a husband and wife duo, and I really liked them. They were fun. They were a great mix. They're a cute, in the sense, cute married couple, and where they just they're always together. They want to do everything together, and they just completely support each other. And they're the perfect, they're the perfect foil to each other too. He is an extreme extrovert and just loves to be around people. He can talk to everyone. Everyone loves him. Whereas she is more of an introvert. She's more quiet. People don't get a good first impression of her. She's more straight to the point. Isn't good about beating around the bush or doing pleasantries. She's more of just like, give me the information I want. I don't care if this is sensitive information. So it's a good mix to have them both together. You kind of need them both together, and it's really fun to get to see that. It's a perfect mix, and I really enjoyed that. Just their interactions together. And it was nice to finally read a book where it's not like they're trying to either, form a relationship or destroy a relationship or have some type of struggle going on there. This is a stable married couple that continue throughout the book, and I just really enjoyed that. It's just them working together, trying to solve a mystery, essentially. And so that's kind of the focus of this book. It has more of an investigative mystery kind of feel. It's not like any type of fast-paced action book or anything. It's more of trying to unravel a mystery. So they were approached by the royal secretary, and there was essentially blackmail against the king. And so they have to discover who wrote this blackmail. and whether the allegations in it are true. So they're trying to essentially backtrack into this and try to figure out what's going on and, who wrote this, who did this. And they're, during this time, they have to kind of go into the past. And to do so, they might have to use some of their skills, which they're hexologists. The world has a little bit of kind of 4 different categories of essentially magicians. They have the wizards, alchemists, necromancers, and hexologists, where the wizards and the necromancers are pretty non-existent at this time. But there's really not a lot of them. You do get a little bit in the book, but you don't get a whole lot. So the hexologists are pretty prominent, and their main character is a really good hexologist. She's well known. So they use her, but there's also magical creatures in this book, magical artifacts. There's a really cool, essentially bag that was her father's, that was passed down to her, and essentially it's just like a portal bag, whereas when they reach in, it's a portal to like this room that has all these artifacts, and they can just pull out what they need. And each artifact has a special ability. It can do something really cool. One of the instances that was really cool was there was this ring, and if she used it, it would allow her to essentially dive into shadows. And then there was essentially this shadow realm area, and then she could come back up through another shadow. That was a really cool scene, and I thought that was a cool artifact. So there's a lot of unique magic in this book. There's not a whole lot. There are some magical fight scenes, which is cool. So I liked that. You get a little bit of everything. It's not like your typical fantasy with, the sword fighting and everything, or, the staffs and everything, but you get a different feel of that fantasy. And the timeline with this is, there is some technology involved, so it's not, like a rural fantasy kind of feel book. It has a little bit of a modern feel to it, but not too much. It's really interesting. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed its uniqueness and how it's different. But there is, enough magic that made me happy with it, but also, and also enough action. I felt like I never got bored with it. I mentioned how it just follows a lot of day-to-day scenes, but I never felt bored. I really savored it. I really enjoyed it, and I couldn't put it down. So I did have fun with this. I really did. But yeah, so someone is trying to fight against them to unravel this mystery that they're trying to unravel. And so they are getting pushback. And some of that does involve, some magical creatures being sent against them. And so they do have to fight a little bit with their magic or their artifacts against these creatures or people who are being sent against them. Which there's one scene that was a pretty cool fight scene. I liked that. But yeah, so there was a lot of twists and turns too at the end. You kind of think you probably have it figured out, but there's always a little bit of a twist there. And there was enough room at the end of the book to leave room for another book. So I'm super excited to read the rest of the series. And I mainly love the main characters. I can't wait to read more of them. It was so much fun to get to read about them. They had a great connection to each other. Their personalities are a perfect offset. So I really did enjoy that, especially their interactions. I can't wait to read more about them and their adventures. That was so much fun. But yeah, I would recommend checking this out. I would. This comes out September 26th. This is one that I'm going to want to own. I loved it. I do think I probably liked it better than the Babel series, at least from what I'm seeing right now with how the book is. I definitely gave this more, I definitely enjoyed this more than Senlin Ascends. Senlin Ascends, that first book, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I did probably some of the later books, and once I got the feel of the whole series, mainly because Senlin Ascends, the characters, there's not a lot of good characters. So, at least good personalities, they all are, out to get the main character. So, I didn't enjoy that as much. Whereas the Hexologists, it's the characters, they're not quite as pitted against each other as Senlin Ascends. So, I enjoyed this first book a lot more than that one. So, whether you liked the Babel series or not, I still think, at least giving this one a try to see. I really did enjoy it. I had fun with it. And I'm just glad that I got to try this out, and this was definitely one that I'm going to want to read the rest of the series. So if you do try it out, let me know. But otherwise, thanks for watching.